Hey, it's MK, and I am here with another Follow the Sketch February, and this is the sketch that we are going to be doing with Stick 'em Up Sketches. Stick 'em Sketches, sorry, not Stick 'em Up. It's just so fun to say. All right, so I'm going to pull these out of my envelope. This is another one of those nature study layouts where I had very little paper, and so I picked a sketch that did not take a whole lot of paper, or I could use the branding strips, something like that. And this sketch really does fit the bill. So I am going to go ahead and see what I can do with this sketch with the little bits that I have. So the first thing I pulled out was my stitching stencil by Stampin' Up. This one is an oval because my photos are going to be on the rectangle side rather than the square. So I thought an oval would be perfect. I also have this push pin, almost like a mouse pad from Amy Tan when she did a whole lot of stitching stencils as well. And then I just pulled out some brown floss from DMC. These are the elements that I picked out from the nature study. I've got a chipboard piece and then a couple other little die cut pieces from the ephemera pack. Same with these little tickets right here. They all came, and I don't know if I'm going to use everything. I'm pretty stoked with how much I've actually used throughout this month. As far as I don't have a lot of leftovers. So I'm super, super excited about that. I have some film strips from Nature Study. I went ahead and picked out all the solid ones, thinking that maybe I could use those as some of my strips because the paper that I have isn't a whole lot, and some of it needs to be used for my photo mats. I also have this tiny little flip flap that is more or less the journaling. It's not really journaling, but it's more or less. That's my little note as to why I originally pulled these photos out, and the fact that I wanted to use Nature Study with them. So I have all these little strips left over from the like the packaging from the paper pad, thinking that I could use those on this layout as well. And then same with this piece here. This one is some of the cut aparts as well as the paper sample pieces that I could use to cut out. I'm just not really sure, you guys. The reason why my packaging is cut out is because during Kit Conspiracy in November, I took the striped pieces that were on the packaging and ended up using those instead of the cut aparts. I just really liked the yellow stripes. All right, so in the sketch, it has a little bit of mixed media, or looks like water splatters and whatnot, and I didn't realize that, so I didn't pull out any supplies. So the thing I did was I took a stencil that I used on a previous layout. I think it was just a couple days ago or yesterday, could have been, and went ahead and just used whatever was on my brown blending tool. That's all that I did in order to get the color down on my page. I really wasn't looking for an exact match or anything, but I was using what I had. And if I'm treating this like I was at a retreat, that's what I would have had is, well, basically nothing. Because I didn't plan for it or bring it. And in all honesty, I really didn't look that hard at the sketch until I started working with the sketch. And that's usually how it goes when I pack for retreats, is I look at the main elements on the sketch, but I don't look super hard at a sketch, which I should, because I end up like this where I forget to bring things. But in reality, I think that what I used will work, right? It just happens to be that it worked out just fine. All right, so for my little flip flap, which is actually a 6x12 pocket page that Close to My Heart offers, I took the two pieces and cut it off for another project, and I didn't really want to throw away the single. I thought it would be a cool little element in my layout or in my album if I just had that one leftover little bit. I mean, I just really thought that it would be a cool effect when flipping through an album and see this little flip-flap page thing. It's not really a flip-flap because it's not going to be attached to anything. It's only going to be in my album with the one hole that's on it. So I went ahead and decided that I'm going to decorate it, and I really needed a spot for these two photos. One is where the plaque is. It's on like a pedestal full of rocks, and then the other one is so you can actually read it. So when you get to these pages, this plaque is right before, like I'm standing at the plaque as my daughter is back in the trees, and I'm taking a picture of how tall the trees are. So that's kind of where we are as far as where this rock pile is. And it's just about a mine that used to be in these trees and amongst these trees, and it's called the Lost Cement Mine. So I'm going to go ahead and decorate up these last little, like just this tiny side. I'm not really going to do a whole lot of journaling on this side or anything, because it's really meant to be read. And then, of course, seeing how the plaque was in. Now, I did end up chopping down a lot of that photo, so you really can't see the rock formation that it was in, but I get a representation of it by having the rocks around the plaque. So I'm okay with that. All right, decided to find out where I could get more photo mats. So I'm using packaging on one and a cut apart on the other that was, I think, just like mushrooms and stuff. I just really took it for its color more than I did for what I can see on it. And then I'm tracing out where to go, because I really, what was I doing? Oh, for the stitching. That's what this is for. And then I realized that I didn't have enough lead poking out of my pencil. And I didn't make a single mark. I made a mark up at the top, and that was it. But I'm only doing this so that way I know where not to stitch. I really don't like gluing my photos over stitched elements. I don't know why, but stitching seems to me like it's a lot more bulkier than a distressed edge. It's interesting. So I went ahead and I sped this part up super, super fast so that way I could leave it in. But when it came to the stitching, I left that out because of how many twists and turns I do with the page. And I thought it would be very hard to watch. I know it was hard to watch on my end. So I opted not to leave this part in. So I went ahead and did a couple stitches online, and then I fast forward it to where now they are all done. And when I lay back my film strips, I love that I can see the stitching through the film strips. Like, that is one of my favorite things ever right there. So I'm going to go ahead and put my photos down on the film strip and then use the adhesive, because sometimes when you have a see-through piece like this, you don't really know where to put your adhesive or what type of adhesive to put to hold it down. And these types of plasticky things hold down really, really well with just your ATG gun, I promise. But the hard part is trying to find out where to put the adhesive so it doesn't show through. And so I just build from the top down, so then that way I can flip the whole piece over and I know exactly where to put my adhesive once I flip it over and see what's not going to be showing. All right, so I'm using my ruler to extend the tickets on this page, and I just wanted to make sure that it did actually look like a solid ticket going all the way down in order to get that effect, but I wanted the tickets to show at the top and the bottom, and I didn't really need to see that much of the ticket at the bottom, but I'm okay with that. Just wanted that representation. And so now I am cutting out the, what am I cutting out? I'm cutting out the packaging. I'm cutting out, all of it is packaging, so that way I could get more paper strips and be able to just tuck in a lot more of the paper, because in the sketch, there's at least 5 or 6 pattern papers on top of each other to form these really cool banner pieces. And so with just the 3 photo strips, I was happy with them, but I just felt like it wasn't full enough, like it didn't have enough volume or body going on. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And I think I'm just going to do 4 of these. I don't really remember at this point. So, and I cut the pieces in half and now I'm fishtailing them. That way I can make it look like it goes all the way behind my photos. But it doesn't really. So I really like optical illusions like this, to be honest. I am totally digging how that stitching can be seen through the film strips. That is just probably my favorite part right there. I really do enjoy that. So I'm going to go ahead and start gluing everything down. I'm just eyeballing from one side to the other to see if my pieces are going to be straight. I'm not really pulling out the ruler or anything. This was kind of easy. Then I realized that one of my banner pieces was wider on one end, so I must have accidentally cut on the fishtail the wrong side. But that's fine because now I get different variations in thickness. So that's also a good thing to do. And then I'm going to move on to the decorating once I'm done, cleaning off my desk. So this was a little area. It's a rest area that we stopped at on our way to, I think Lehigh is where, no, Lehigh's not the right one. It's where my husband's dad went to high school, and it's, I don't remember, to be honest, but we were basically driving down memory lane for his dad. And so this is one of the spots where we decided to stop, and it was absolutely beautiful. I mean, those trees are fabulously tall. So I'm taking all the pieces that I had picked out for this layout and just finding spots for them. I really like how that circle journaling spot or date spot was like missing pieces out of the full circle, and it fit perfectly right there with all those banners like it was meant to be, because you can kind of see how it fades into the banners with that print on it. I just really liked that. All right, you guys, so that is my layout. Another quick one today. I had a blast. The hardest part was the stitching, but I do like the ovals because I wasn't using square photos. So I really did like that, and I was able to extend my design just a little bit because of the tallness of my photos. So all right, I have a couple links down below for you guys for Follow a Sketch February. If you guys don't mind checking those out, if you want to, you don't have to. And as always, I appreciate you guys stopping by, and I will check y'all later. Thanks.